Well, I think the challenge for, our team is to sort of maintain discipline and intensity, during this bye week to do two things. Recover, rest, get some guys healthy that are banged up, as well as to try to improve each individual player so they have a better chance to play winning football, and use this time to see some of the things that'll be a little bit different that we see down the stretch here in our last four games. So that's what we're trying to do during this week.
First up is Daniel Essman of USA Today.
Hi, Nick. What specifically will the team be doing on Saturday when a lot of other teams are playing around the country?
Well, we give the players a weekend off this weekend. We have a bye week late in the season. These guys have been here for a long time. They haven't had any weekends off, so we give them the weekend off, and it's for rest and recovery, and everybody's got to be mature and disciplined about how they manage that. But I'm sure a lot of them watch a lot of football games, but at the same time, it's a good time for them to just get some, physical, mental, psychological, whatever time to recover.
Mm-hmm. Has how you've handled off weeks or bye weeks during your career, has that evolved over the years?
Yeah, I think that, sometimes, less is more when you have bye weeks, especially late in the season. We manage them a little bit different. When we had a bye week earlier in the season, we practiced a little bit more. We're still trying to get our team ready to play, more guys. But at this point in the season, after 8 games, the players are kind of in a routine of, what they do each week to get ready to play a game. Now all of a sudden you don't have a game, and I think at this time of the year it's important that you get the team ready to play the next 4 games. And at this time, physical and psychological mental recovery is probably as important as anything.
Thank you.
Next is Edward Ashoff of ESPN.com.
Yeah, Nick, can you just talk about the challenges of playing in the month of November, especially in the last couple of years? You lose to LSU, and last year you lose to Texas A&M. You guys have found out a way to get back into the national championship picture. Just how tough is this last month?
Well, I think that, the cumulative effect of the season probably affects every team, to some degree. I think, physically, as you lose players, some people don't think that has any effect on your team, but it has a lot of effect on your team. Every time you lose a player, it not only affects a guy playing his position, but the trickle-down effect of where he played on special teams, who takes his place, what the guy that's taken his place role was on special teams, who has to take his place now that he's going to be playing more plays in a game. And I think psychologically, the grind of, trying to get ready to play your best football every game becomes more and more challenging, especially, when guys are trying to overcome more and more adversity, which, maybe their physical condition or, just the fact that they're, getting a little more sort of wore out as the season wears on, as well as, the psychological impact of being able to, keep yourself in a positive frame of mind so that you can, improve in practice and, continue to try to play your best.
And also, can you talk about the significance of this Alabama-LSU rivalry the last couple of years? I mean, you guys played the national championship. The SEC West has been on the line every time you guys have played. How much has that sort of changed in the last couple of years? How important this game has become?
Well, every year past the first year we've been here, it's, they've had a really good team. They've got a really good program. Their coaching staff, Coach Miles, does a great job of, recruiting and developing players. So, we have a tremendous amount of respect for, them being one of the, most challenging opponents that we have in this league. And, so, the fact that they've been really, really good and that we've been pretty good, makes this game one that has a tremendous amount of significance, to both teams. So, both teams are going to play hard throughout the game and, try to play their best and, but it's a great game, and it's a game that players on both sides probably look forward to, and because it's a tremendous challenge.
Next is David Pascal at Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Coach, talking about the open date, and specifically before LSU, I think this is the fourth time in 5 years you've had one before LSU. LSU, this is their fourth straight year before this game. What have you learned through the years about having this open date before LSU, and specifically back in a couple of years ago, did your team handle that open date well, or did they peak too early? How do you guard against them getting too up for this game when you have the 2 weeks to prepare?
Well, I think first thing is you can't use the whole 2 weeks to try to prepare for the game. I mean, I've never believed in that, because I think that's when, players get a little bit, sort of tired of the same things over and over and over, and by the time the game comes, they're, sort of mentally and psychologically, drained. So especially when they're in sort of the rhythm of how they get ready for a game in the course of the week. Not that we won't use this week to do some things that are a little different that they do that we need to practice against, but psychologically, we're not focusing on that game and, till a specific time, so the players, really don't have to be, thinking about it for an extended period of time, because I do think that this game means a lot to both teams and it means a lot to all the players, so, don't want to wear them out with it.
And then, secondly, on LSU quarterback Zach Mettenberger, obviously you faced him last year, and he had a really productive game with a new offensive coordinator, Cam Cameron. What do you see? I don't know how much time you've had to look at him already, but just what have you seen from what you remember last year, and obviously what he's been able to do so far this year?
Well, they've got really good skill players outside. Zach does a really good job of, executing their offense. He's got a good arm. He's a good thrower. He's a very accurate passer, and he throws the ball to the right place. And their guys are a challenge to cover, and he delivers the ball to them in a timely fashion. And he played extremely well against us last year, and I think he's played really, really well this year so far. And they've got a very, very talented offense, balanced. They can run it, throw it. They got big play guys, and he's a guy that makes it all happen based on how he executes what they do. So he's probably playing as well as any quarterback in our league.
Thank you.
John Zuner, the Associated Press.
Good morning, Nick. I know that you don't ever get tired of questions about spread offenses, but I have to ask one more. It seems like when you're recruiting these days, do you hear more about all these young skill players who kind of see all these spread offenses racking up big yards and everything? Do you have to address that more with recruits that are kind of curious or interested about playing that kind of offense?
Well, I think that offense suits certain players, and I think some, other players, it doesn't suit nearly as well. And I think some players see themselves as excelling in, that kind of offense, and I think some players see themselves excelling in a more, pro-style offense that's going to, have more similarities to trying to help them develop a career as a football player. So I think it all depends on the individual player, in all honesty. So, we want guys that fit what we do and can see that they can have success, doing the things that they'll do here. And our program reflects, a pro-style, type of attack, which should be appealing to most players.
Thanks.
This is Dave Matter, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hey, Nick, I know your game Saturday wasn't close, but where has Tennessee made the most progress under Butch Jones in his first year?
Well, I think Tennessee's, a very good team. I think, things didn't go very well for them in the first half, and, we made a lot of plays in the first half and played really well, and, but I think they're playing, better on defense. They've got a very good offensive line. They've got balance. Quarterback has played, better for them, and, they seem to be a very disciplined, team that competes for 60 minutes in a game. Obviously, they played, better in the second half than he did in the first, and that shows a lot about their competitive character and the discipline they have, as a team. So I think he's done a really good job with the team.